Oh, 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 you don't know the shape I'm in by the band? That should be a theme song for the city of Niagara Falls. Oh, 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 you don't know the shape I'm in. But if you get up there and look around, you'll find out real quick. I'll tell you that right now. And it isn't that great. Of course, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. Hello, all you out there in Videoland. We're looking right into the camera here for the show today. It's Straight Talk Thursday. Yeah, that's what it is. We're almost at the end of the week, and we have a beautiful day out there, 72 degrees. Looking really, really good out there for a nice summer day, actually. We are still in summer. It is only August, although some days it feels like October, especially when it's raining. But no, we're still in August here, August 21st today, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you don't know the shape I'm in. And we're going to talk about the city. Of course, we're going to talk about the city. Your city, your voice is about the city and about the country. But first, I want to get to my sponsors. Got to talk about my sponsors. Number one, they pay the way, and we thank them very much for sponsoring the show. That would be Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop in Hamilton, Glowstone Lighting. Listen, you still have time to take a run to the exhibition and enjoy everything they have there at the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. Pack up the kids, pack up the wife, and jump in the car and go. But you want to make sure your car is running tip top. You're fighting traffic. You're battling up the what the heck? Where is that? That's on the QEW. And you're going to get off on Lakeshore and get to the CNE. You don't want to break down. Who wants to break down the QEW? It's a disaster on the QEW without having breakdowns. You do not want to. So you go see Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's. Check your brakes. Check your cooling system. Check your air conditioning. Check your oil. Check everything. Make sure your car's tip top when you hit that highway. Man, we see a lot of accidents, and I'm sure a lot of them have to do with just faulty equipment, things that aren't right. We see all these trucks and everything getting pulled off the streets. Well, that's why, because they don't do proactive maintenance. They do reactive maintenance. They don't do anything until things go wrong. Get it done right. Ken will put your car on diagnostic equipment and tell you exactly where the deficiencies lie, and then he'll fix them. If there are any, there might not be any. Everything might be all right. He's going to tell you that too. Either way, get in to see Ken Hunter at Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop, Oakwood Drive, next to the Kia dealership. Tell them Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. And yeah, we appreciate you supporting our sponsors. So, oh man, let's do a couple of PSAs here, public service announcements, and happy, joy. Morrison Street is black again, which means that they have paved it, at least put a preliminary coating on it. And it looks like it goes all the way up to Stanley Avenue. I went around today. I didn't even bother trying to get through there. It was just crazy lately. So I just went straight up to Valleyway, down Valleyway into downtown Niagara Falls, of course. But yeah, when I went by Morrison Street, it looked paved. So on the way home, I'm taking it. I'm going to see what's going on. And hopefully they've got it all the way done up to Victoria or Stanley Avenue, from Victoria to Stanley, or Valleyway to Stanley anyway. And it looks great. So I'm going to take a shot up there today and see what's going on. And if there's any major problems, I will let you know tomorrow. But it looks good to me. And Valleyway still planed and ready to go. So I would say they're going to be paving that very, very shortly. Very shortly. Should be done too. So there you go. What else we got going on here? Oh, geez. You know, I just want to do another public service announcement, and this is really, really cool. This is really neat, and I'm so happy that Rick Rose, his family, has put this together. Of course, Rick Rose passed away, and it's hard to believe we lost him on July 14th, over a month now ago, so fast. And I still come into the studio every day, and I look in that corner there where the chair is, and he's not there. And that's kind of still get hard to get used to, walking in the door every day. You know, he sat in that chair on his phone, making calls, helping people out, doing what he does best. And he did it every day of the year, basically. Yeah, helping people out. So in that regard, in his memory, his family has started the Rick Rose Music Foundation, which I was really happy to see. an organization that will provide a financial boost to Niagara Falls High School students, allowing them to take part in music lessons and have instruments. Teachers from the Niagara Catholic District School Board and the District School Board of Niagara will submit names each spring to the scholarship via the Niagara Community Foundation. Now, his son, Jake, says this is a fitting way to keep his dad's ideals of giving back alive in the city, a way to keep his legacy going. He wanted to try his best to help students in music while he was alive, Rick. So now the foundation will do it for him, even though he isn't here. Jake would like to stage a huge music festival each year in Niagara and sometime in June to raise funds for the foundation. All the donations from the funeral have already been deposited into the foundation account, and any monies that are donated from here on in or they raise are going into that account, the foundation account. And Jake said that many of his dads and his families, for that matter, friends have contacted them to arrange fundraisers already. Rick was a staple in the music community in this city. You know that when you saw anything going on, usually he had a hand in it. He was more than generous, giving his time and any equipment he had and anything else he could do to help everybody. So it's great to see this legacy carried on. We miss him around here. I mean, that empty seat should be part of a legacy. That empty seat over there should be put off to the side and a plaque put over it about who sat there and what he did for this city. Yep, I don't know. It's going to be, I don't think I'll ever get used to coming in here and not seeing him here. I mean, it's just, he's always here. And until we meet again, my friend, to donate to the foundation, visit NiagaraCommunityFoundation.org. Thank you very much. Rick Rose's memory will live on in Niagara Falls, a staple in the music industry. So also, while we're in the city, I'm going to stick in the city here for a while, and I'm going to give acknowledgments to a couple different things that I see going on here. And one of them was, I want to give kudos to the residents of the Brookfield Avenue area of the city. Now, Brookfield Avenue, if you're not sure where it runs from Lundy's Lane to Clare Crescent. Off Lundy's Lane, it would be it starts west of Dorchester Road and runs all the way down right into Clare Crescent, shaped like a kind of a hockey stick, if you will, into Clare Crescent. And the residents at the bottom end of Brookfield are having to deal with the development on a piece of land. They don't really like the development. So the height of it will be 5 stories and looks right down in their backyards. So, and this is where I give them credit. They banded together as a neighborhood and had a street party. Anyone could have attended in the city. It didn't matter. If you knew about it, you could go. To raise funds to fight the developer at the Ontario Land Tribunal level. City planners approved the project. They said, yes, this project can continue on, but council heard the residents loud and clear and didn't approve it. So, there you go. Staff said yes. Planners on the staff said yes. City council said, no, not going to happen. And the developer took the case to the OLT, the Ontario Land Tribunal, which used to be the OMB, Ontario Municipal Board, for a decision, which is normal next step when staff approves a bill, council rejects it, and then the developer takes it to the OLT. Now, this proposal came to council in the July 11th, 2023 City Council meeting. Now, I understand the situation. I've been there, done this, and applaud the residents for getting involved and taking action. We had the same situation in our neighborhood years ago in the 90s. And it's infilling. It's infilling. There was a big plot of land in the middle of all the houses that are surrounded by Drummond Road, Stevens Street, David Avenue, and Scott Street. We used to play in there when we were kids. We played football and stuff. But they decided they're going to build in there. And, of course, when you take it to OLT or OMB in our day, and the planners approve it, it's very, very hard to have it overturned. There would have to be a case of egregious mistakes made by the city planners in their decision to approve it. And at that point in time, the OLT may overturn it. But as long as everything's on the go, I mean, they made the right decision. It's very, very hard to have it overturned. Even in our case, we didn't get it overturned. We got some concessions that people wanted who lived abutting the property that was going to be infilled. So they wanted to put apartment buildings and 5 or 6 stories and that kind of. They built some beautiful condos in there. So they did get that concession that was more in line with what the people around there have, single family dwellings, and that's kind of what they're looking for there. Now, something was already approved for there, I think a 3-story building, but the developer changed because he can make more money probably. And unfortunately, not liking it in your backyard, the NIMBY syndrome, it's called, isn't a good enough excuse to have it overturned. There's got to be something there that the OLT can look at and say, okay, they shouldn't have approved it in the first place, the planners, because at the end of the day, the planners and the city said, okay. And you can't just turn something down because you don't like it. Nothing would get built because nobody wants any green space filled in. I don't care where you live in the city. You don't want green space filled in. You want to have that at your disposal. I mean, people use this green space all the time for different things, walking their dogs and things like that. So they don't want to take it away. So it's a big deal, but that is not an excuse. And even it doesn't fit in with the character of the neighborhood. Well, that's another touchy one. Down the street, there's a few apartment buildings not that far from this development. Up the street at the top where John Diamond Jubilee School used to be, there's 2 big developments by the same developer. And there are apartment buildings and different kinds of housing in and around that area, as well as single family units. So it's hard to make a case for that it doesn't fit in with the neighborhood. And especially when city planners and staff have said, yeah, go ahead. It's going to be a tough road ahead for these people. I don't even know if they need the money for a lawyer. They raise money for it, or there's another planner to come in and give a different opinion. Good luck to you guys. I feel your pain. But at the end of the day, I don't know how big of a chance you have to have this overturned. Like, you might get some concessions that you want, and that would be beautiful. But my concern, more than build or not build, is that these people have taken it into their hands, at least to give it a shot. They're interested, they're involved. They had a great turnout at city council during that meeting I talked about in 2023. I saw them all speak. I know a lot of them, and it was a job well done. And that's what we need in this city. You don't know the shape I'm in. That's what we need in this city. We need people to sit here, your city, your voice, to speak up. And if they don't like what's going on, to get out and vote and change things. You can't expect the people who created the problems to fix them. We're finding that out in the United States. And we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about why we're going to talk about that. And that's just the way it is. If you want new ideas, you want new things to happen in this city, you want things changed, you can't get the same people who have been there for 20, 30 years. A couple who shouldn't even be on council. One that shouldn't be on council because they're not knowledgeable enough. Like, you've got to change, and you've got to get people in there that you want who are going to make the right decisions. And that's it. But I kudos to them for doing it. And we're going to talk about another one that's kind of the same, but on a much bigger scale, and that is the Fernwood subdivision, whose decision went to the OLT as well. Now, Fernwood are involved in the new quarry that's going in, right? Close to their properties. They built these beautiful homes. That's off Garner Road, right behind the Red Path Sugar, where the sugar place used to be, between, I think it's Garner and, I'm gonna say, Town Line Road. That's what I'm gonna say. There's a new quarry that's going to upper quarry, it's called. But they're going to build this quarry. And of course, along with the quarry comes the dust and the traffic and the trucks and the blasting and the noise and everything else. And when you talk about a legacy project, well, this is kind of it. Because that quarry is going to be there for 20, 25 years or whatever. And then after, you know what they do with quarries? They got a big hole. They make money quarrying it all out, and then they make money filling it up with garbage. So this is a legacy project that's going to be there for a long, long time. So these guys that live there, they're looking down the road and saying, we didn't buy our properties here to have a quarry blasting every day and having the noise and truck and traffic and everything else that goes on in a quarry. Now, the city has received an appeal from Walker Aggregates and from the OLT. So at the end of the day, they're going to be the ones who the OLT is looking at and deciding for city council how this is going to go down. And the reason is the city council couldn't make a decision on it. They wanted more information and blah, blah, blah. They couldn't decide. No decision is still making a decision. And after 120 days, the OLT said, okay, you can't make the decision. We're going to make it. And now the city is out of it. And the decision rests in the hands of the OLT. It's out of the city's hands right now. And of course, the problem with this is cost. The taxpayers always foot the bill. Whenever a developer goes to the OLT, the city has to represent their end of the decision, whether it's a no decision or even whether it's like the Brookfield Avenue development, the Dorchester Road development. They have to have somebody represent them and say why they said no. So this is going to cost taxpayer dollars. Of course, the decisions are usually based on emotion, not planning. The planners make the decisions based on planning and sticking to the regulations from the city, the region, the province, and even federally, if there are federal laws against developing, eco-friendly land and that kind of stuff. So once again, planners have to go in there, their side of the story, and prove that the city planners made an egregious error that has to be overturned. So, it's one of those things that on the Walker side, like they're a long time company in this city. They've done the quarrying and they've done everything right. They put in place things in position to take care of dust and noise and everything else. They know what they're doing. They've done it. They're trusted. And when they go to the OLT, that's going to be taken into account too. And of course, they're making their case that this aggregate that they're going to pull out of this quarry is some of the best aggregate in the area in Ontario, the best aggregate for building. So they can't just leave this alone. It's got to be used because, Ford wants 1.3 million houses or 5 million houses in the next 10 years. And they need roads to go to those houses and everything that goes along with building. And this is the best stone for it in the Niagara region, right on that road there, right on Town Line Road. So Walker's been trusted for a long time in this city to do the job right. And, yeah, it's in their backyard. Yeah, there's going to be traffic. Yeah, there's going to be noise. Yeah, there's going to be blasting. But, Walker says they can satisfy the needs of the residents, that this isn't going to be that disruptive, and they should be fine. But Walker has valid points for why they need it, and they got a great reputation, and they know what they're doing. And and they got the stone they need to develop Ontario. It's gonna be hard for the OLT to say no. They're gonna arbitrate it, and we're gonna see what happens. Good luck to Fernwood. I appreciate everything you're saying. I back everything you're saying. I wouldn't want that in my backyard neither. But the decision comes down to the OLT. I think it'll be approved, and their options are exhausted at this point as far as the Fernwood residents go. Walker's going to get it approved, and away we go with a new quarry. Boom, bang, bang, bang in their backyard. And unfortunately, that's the way it goes. And it's sad that you weren't aware of that before you bought your residence or built your houses in there, because really it should have been part of the development that at one point in time, Walker owns that quarry and they're going to develop it. I don't know if city council knew or not. That's another question. It has to be looked into, but it's definitely should have been part of buying a place there, being informed about that location and what could possibly go there before they made the decision. Anyway, I thank Ray Spiteri for the article in the Niagara Falls Review. If you want to look into it a little bit more, look at the review. They've got articles from this last story Ray wrote, going back to when all this kind of started, and when Fernwood residents came to city council and that kind of thing to talk their case. I've talked to a lot of them about it. I wanted them to come on the show. They never did. But at the end of the day, now it's in the hands of the OLT, and it's going to go where it goes. Now, let's stick around the city. We're going to stick around the city for most of the show, I think, and then we're going to move to the United States regarding the election, because there's so much going on right now. I got into a little discussion on Facebook with several people regarding garbage on city streets, and there was a picture in there of a store down in Queen Street that in the doorway and spilling out onto the sidewalk was a bunch of garbage. And nobody was picking it up. There's just pictures of there. And my take on it is that the city should be picking it up, and they should send a crew to clean it up. That's why we pay taxes. Why should a resident have to go down there and pick up all this garbage, which could have needles in it? You don't know what's in it. And pick it all up and clean it all up. Why? Why should we have to do it, residents? That's why we pay taxes, to keep our streets clean. Now, on the other side of that coin was somebody who said they went down there and cleaned it up, which I disagree with right off the bat. But his thing is listen, we're all in this together. Well, that was a neat little saying for the scamdemic. We were in it together until they started firing people in that. We were in it together for a long time. But anyway, I digress. He said that he picked it up because it's his part as a citizen to go and help keep the city streets clean. And I said, no. No citizen should have to go downtown and clean up the streets or anywhere else and clean up someone else's garbage. I mean, our taxes, do they go down when we do this? All these people out there picking up garbage on the side of the roads and everything, they're doing good, and congratulations to them. But it's really not your job, and you're doing that, but all you're doing really is enabling the city to not worry about it or not take responsibility for it. Somebody else will clean it up. It's like anything else. I make the mess, somebody else cleans it up. Why am I encouraged? What encourages me not to make the mess? They throw their garbage on the side of the road, somebody picks it up. So they have to be held responsible. And if not, they're not responsible, then the city's responsible to clean it up. I mean, it's their city, right? Part of our taxes are to keep the city clean, to maintain the city. I mean, people complain about self-checkouts. Why should I do their job? Why should I do their job? It's not my job to check out my food, or my stuff at the home hardware or anything. It's their job. They should have cashiers to do it. Well, if you go by that attitude, right? That's what you're saying, then it's the same with this. It's not your job to clean that up neither. It's not your job to check your goods out. It's not your job to clean up the streets. It's the city's job. So, you got two sides. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? I say don't clean up anything. And I use self-checkouts. I like them better. I don't feel like hearing people complain about their job, how they hate it, why they want more money, and everything else. I just go to self-checkout and have to listen to anybody, and I breeze through it, no problem. But I don't get it. In a way, you're enabling the city, like I said. And our taxes are going to go up again this year. You don't know the shape I'm in. And someone else will pick up your mess all the time, and they shouldn't. You should be responsible for it. And they're raising our taxes more and more, and we're not getting any cleaner of a city. We're not getting any safer of the city. We're not getting any better roads. I mean, the heady days of unlimited money are gone. Now it's about living within your means, and it doesn't matter if it's you or if it's me or if it's the city. We have to live within our means, and that goes for government as well as residents of Niagara Falls. The spendthrift ways that we were able to afford in the past are gone. They've caught up with everybody. And now the taxpayers have to pay. You're probably not doing some of the things that you used to do. I mean, you used to go on a two-week vacations. Now you might only go on one. You might have had that extra car or motorcycle or something that you used as was just a party thing, just a frill. Now you got rid of it because you need the money. And a lot of people are tightening their belts and doing this kind of thing. So taxpayers, you have to decide what you want: clean streets or pickleball courts, paved roads or walking trails, a safe city or batting cages. You can't have it all anymore. You can't just have it all. What good are walking trails if they're littered with garbage and feces? What good are pickleball courts if the roads are impassable to get to them? What good are batting cages if you get mugged on the way to using them, or vandals are breaking them due to lack of surveillance all the time? You can't. We can't have it all anymore. We can't expect it all anymore. And we as a city have to decide what we need for a better life. Our wants and needs. And you heard the Penguin, Jason Burgess, say it. We have to decide what our wants and needs are. Jason wants a cut. Taxpayers don't want a cut. City council's in between. What do you do? What do you do? Wants and needs. Wants and needs. I mean, do pickleball courts serve the whole city like cleanliness, great roads, and safety do? Or are they just for the 100 or so people who use them and everybody else has to pay for it? These are the tough questions and tough decisions city council has to make. I don't want to be in their shoes to have to make these decisions, but this is what they've got to do. They've got to decide what is best for the city, where we're going to spend the money we do have, and how it's going to benefit the most people in the city. And clean streets benefit everybody. Paved roads in good condition benefit everybody. So does safety. It benefits everybody who wants to go out and enjoy the outdoors without getting mugged. So kudos to the guy that picked up the garbage. He did go down and pick it up, and I appreciate what he did. Good for him. It's something I probably wouldn't do. Well, I know I wouldn't. I expect the city to do it. I commend him for doing that, but I don't like to encourage that people just dump their crap anywhere and it'll be cleaned up by somebody else, whether it's the city or this gentleman. But I think the city has to have, and I said this before, what I would do is I would carve out $2 million a year for the next 5 years to keep this city clean, and I would have people walking the beat with a garbage can on wheels and a broom and one of those picker-upper things and a stabber, the stabber and the picker-upper all in a little cart like they used to do, and have them walk down Queen Street and down Victoria Avenue and then come back, have different territories, and have them do that all day. That's their job, rain or shine, to go pick up it, and it would go from April to October. And that's all they would do. Different crews, 4 or 5 crews around the city, one on Main Street, one on Queen Street up to, up to Simcoe Street. One from Simcoe to Center Street. One from Center Street to, Portage Bakery. One from Portage Bakery up Main Street to Drummond Road. One down Main Street. I mean, I would have people, that's what they do. And a supervisor that goes around and makes sure they're doing it and picking up their full garbage cans and stuff like that. That would be a crew. Hire summer students. I don't care how you do it. Keep the city clean. That's what we should be doing. They patrol. And if they see a side street, there's garbage, they go down and get it. That's their responsibility, their territory, to keep it clean. Yeah, that's what I would do. Way to keep it clean. At some point, someone that understands the time we live in will step up and run for mayor. Somebody's got to step up and run for mayor and take care of these things. That person will not be a showboat, but a serious person who sees the deficiencies in the system that is running the city now and be able to articulate those deficiencies and offer positive solutions to address them, all the while being fiscally responsible, forcing staff and council to live within their means. I haven't run into that person yet. I've interviewed a lot of people running for city council. I haven't seen that yet. But I'm sure there's a person out there, and I'm going to continue to look. We as a city deserve better. I don't care what anybody says, and we get 20 million a year the other cities don't get, so there's no excuses. And you just look around. Is this city better looking now than it was 5 or 6 years ago, or even 8 or 12 years ago? Look around. What do you think? I think it's worse. I think it's a lot worse, with boarded up buildings, homeless all over the streets and that. You know, like I said at the beginning of this, you can't expect the people who created the problems to fix them. So you're involved. I love to see people involved, whether it's against the OLT, whether against some developments, whether it's on Queen Street. They're picking up the garbage. I wouldn't say that, but they're involved, and I like them being involved. And if they don't like picking up the garbage, then they vote for somebody who's going to make sure it is picked up. And that's it. We deserve better. I mean, we really do. And I can't say it enough. Get out and vote. Get out and vote. Now over to my next sponsor, Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. And I keep talking about this. Hamilton Glowstone Lighting, the leaders in permanent outdoor lighting. You see these houses lit up and you go, wow, where did they get this from? This is fantastic. Well, it was probably from Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. That's what they do, and they do it best. So what do? Come to your house, put up track lighting, make sure all the joints are sealed against dust and water, LED lighting, so it's very, very economical. You're not burning your meter out on your house, your hydro meter. And also, they give you a lifetime warranty on the product. You can't ask for better than that from somebody. They also make your home more valuable. People come over, they're looking at your house. If you're selling it, they look and go, wow, I don't have to do Christmas lights anymore. They're already there. Look at them. They're beautiful. Doesn't get better than that. They light up your pathways. They make your house safer. They make your house look better. They're just well worth the dollars that you spend for them. Now, how do you get a free quote? You call Colin Buckborough. He is the owner, and his number is 289-969-1797. I'll repeat it again in a minute, and Colin will come over and give you a free estimate. Now, if you're really into these Christmas and St. Patrick's Day and Halloween and Canada Day, you love your house lit up, you get up on ladders, blaze up, they'll do it all for you. You won't have to do it again, and they can Griswold your house to the max. And you know what? If you don't have a whack of money to plop down, hey, give them half cash. The rest, they put on approved credit. They finance it for you. So there you go. You don't want to do it all at once? It doesn't matter. They can add on after. Unbelievable product. Looks fantastic. Colin Buckborough at 289-969-1797. He'll come over and take care of you. If you want to see their work, just go to glowstonelighting.com on the internet. Just go www.glowstonelighting.com, just like it sounds. GLOWSTONELIGHTING. And away you go. You got it made. You can see exactly the kind of work they do. You're going to love it. I'm going to love if you support our sponsors. Colin's going to love coming over and giving you a quote and doing a phenomenal job on it. Everybody's going to be happy. Tell him Paul from Your City, Your Voice sent you. He'll be happy to hear that. Okay, so what do we got here? I want to go down south. But before I do that, okay. We have the DNC convention. Let's go down south. And everybody says to me, why do you go down south? Why do you want to talk about American politics? Well, think about this. When Jimmy Diodati, Mayor Jim, stands up and gives his budget, and is his budget, make no mistake about it, and he tells you that they need a raise They need to up the taxes by at least inflation. Where do you think these numbers come from, the 3.9%? Certainly Jimmy isn't making them up. Mayor Jim just doesn't make these numbers up. He pulls them from factoids and statistics and stuff like that. And we know that what happens in the United States really, really affects what goes on in Canada. If you don't believe it, go back 4 years, look at the United States, what's happened. COVID, mandates, masks, inflation, high interest rates, no housing, homeless people. They all follow suit. They all follow suit, and the United States is the dog that wags the tail, and we're the tail. So it's important what happens there. We're seeing something really bizarre down there right now. And you wonder how somebody who had no votes and no experience and did nothing, she had one job to do, Kamala Harris, is to watch the border, to stop the flow of illegal aliens and terrorists coming into the country, which, by the way, filtered up to New York and over Roxham Road and into Canada, and are sitting in our hotels now. You don't think the United States has something to do with what happens in Canada? Think again, ladies and gentlemen, think again. So they have this president who's incapable of being president, but they pushed him. And Kamala Harris said he's sharp. He runs all the meetings. They don't tell him what he's doing. He tells them what he wants done. He's sharp. They send him to a debate, and he fails miserably. It was a disaster. And right after that, they said, this guy can't win. He's not going to win the election. We got to get rid of him. And also, if we do manage to get him through, we got to get a new running mate. This Kamala Harris is dragging him down. She's not smart enough. She never got any. She's just a drag down on him. They're looking for another vice president. Can't run with her. But finally, they sit down and they say, hey, listen, this guy can't win. He's just not going to win. We're losing all the power. We're losing the presidency in the White House. We got to do something. So mobster Nancy Pelosi, whose family was involved with the mob in on the East Coast, on the West Coast, she sits Joe down like Michael Corleone, and she says, listen, Joe, it's over. You're done. And we can do it the hard way or the easy way. And if you remember Michael Corleone sitting in Las Vegas in a hotel, and Mo Green coming in, he says, Mo, Corleone family's buying you out. And he says, buying me out? Buying me out? The Corleone family don't have that kind of muscle anymore. I can deal with the Barzinis and Tartaglia, and I don't have to give up my casino. And Michael basically told him we can do it the hard way or the easy way. And the hard way was shooting him through the eye with a gun. So Joe, his hard way was invoking the 25th and discrediting him to the point where it'd be a shame on his family, or he can just step down and everything's going to be okay. Of course, he stepped down. We saw that. And all of a sudden, Kamala Harris, who they wanted to get rid of a month before, gets elevated to this post. The media goes into their spin cycle, and they're calling her the greatest, smartest, the best thing since sliced bread ever. She did this, did that. She flip-flops on everything. She's running for president in the DNC right now. The convention in Chicago is getting full blast. And here's everybody, all the guys who stabbed poor old Joe Biden in the back are all now touting how great Kamala is and everything else. And this DNC is basically is the weirdest thing you ever saw. They don't talk about a platform. There is no platform. You go to her website, there is no platform. And all they do is talk about Trump. They have a 4-day convention, and every other word is Trump. Trump's this, Trump's that. He's a convicted felon. He's blah, 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 blah. They don't tell you what they're going to do. They just tell you how bad Trump is. And it's hilarious, like how They have TDS, these people. They really, really are deranged. And and all of them get up there. AOC yelling like the bartender she is, yelling about it, screaming about it. And Obama, I mean, just that, and Big Mike up there talking about it, and right back to 2008 when he first ran. This was a throwback to when he first ran, even though they're not relevant anymore. They run the party, of course. They're relevant to the Democratic Party, but not to anybody else. They're done. But give these rousing speeches against Trump. It's the weirdest thing you ever saw. And Ashley Biden gets up there, Joe Biden's daughter, and poor Joe. I mean, they put him on at 11:30 at night, right out of prime time. They didn't even give him prime time. The guy, I mean, he's president of the United States, and they relegate him to 11:30 on a Monday night when nobody's watching. And he probably gave one of the best speeches I ever saw him give. I mean, he screwed them real bad because once they gave him the stab in the back and got rid of him, first thing he did is saying, "I'm endorsing Kamala Harris," somebody they didn't want, and now they got to sit back and figure out how they're going to pump her up to be the leading candidate, and how she's going to do such a great job when she's done nothing. She's terrible. She ruined California. Just San Francisco's a mess. Everything. So here's Joe endorsing her, and then even at the meeting, he says, "You know what?" He goes, "When I was 29, they said I was too young to be a senator. I proved them wrong. Now I'm 80, and they're telling me I'm too old to be president." But I'm not going to have a chance to prove them wrong. So poor Joe. I mean, his family's up there, and all these Caesars and Brutuses. He's Caesar, they're Brutus. And now they're up there telling how great he is. "Thank you, Joe. We love you, Joe." And meanwhile, they stabbed him in the back and threw him out. Yeah, he wasn't a happy camper, but he gave one of the greatest speeches. And I'm sure some of the people at that convention were going, "Holy crap, why'd we get rid of this guy?" But, he's a sundowner, and they had to prop him up for that one. But what I look at this convention and I see is just lies, a lot of pandering. They never met a minority they didn't like. A lot of pandering and a lot of nonsense and just crap. I mean, this Tim Waltz guy got up there. You think he was coaching a football team? "Oh, we're at the goal line, and it's the last quarter, and we got to move the ball over the line. So let's go. I go, what the heck? Like these cuckoo. And of course, they're always talking about Project 25. I mean, these people are mentally ill. And all the while, police are arresting people outside. Everybody's freaking out. The media's not showing it, but they're arresting tons of people. The Palestinians are there burning American flags and fighting with everybody and knocking down fences. Oh man, what a disaster down there! I'm telling you, it's a big mess. And they have every schmuck, every ham and egger from the Democratic Party is there. Buttigieg, you name it, they're all Maxine Waters, and they got all these comedians that aren't funny, and I don't know, just these artists and people are singing songs and stuff. I don't know. It's pretty crazy. Although it was good to see Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder was there, and that was nice to see the guy. I don't appreciate his politics, of course, but I do appreciate him as an artist. And what do you sing? "Higher Ground Till We Reach the Higher Ground," or something like that, whatever that song is. And he was fantastic. And I love Stevie Wonder. His politics aside, I really like the guy. He's so talented and such a great man. Um, yeah, well, I was going to say he's got to see the light, but you know what? Yeah, he's a Democrat. He's back in Kamala, and it seems a lot of people are back in Kamala, but it's not true. I mean, it's not true. Elon Musk is the best. He did a poll on X. I think he got 6 million votes, and Trump took 79% of them to 21% for Kamala. Now, these other polls, you'll see 1,000 people, 2,000. Yeah, the Reed Ipsos poll, 2,000 people voted, and it's 50-50. Well, I don't know, 6 million people. That's a pretty good cross-section of the United States, right? It's a pretty good cross-section. 6 million people. I'd say that I'd probably look at that poll and rely on it a lot more than 1,000 people or 2,000 people or something. But you got all the whole crew there, that led they're all up there. Drunken Nancy, Shifty Shift, AOC, Crooked Hillary, Schumer the Schmuck, and of course the Brutus himself, knee pad Kamala, the communist, stood up and stabbed Joe in the back. But the show's not over. It ends tonight, of course, with Tampon Tim and knee pad Kamala taking the stage in the grand finale. Of course, he'll be up there and they'll all be celebrating and everything else. But she's going to give her speech, which will be vapid. It'll be ghost. There'll be a bunch of never Trump, never Trump, never Trump movement. 2025. I mean, just junk nonsense. Convicted felon. Yeah, they love pulling that line. I'm a prosecutor. I've dealt with a lot of convicted felons. Kamala. Oh my goodness, they're desperate. They're desperate. It's not going good. It's not going good. But it's not over. Like I said, it ends tonight. You're gonna see Kamala give this last speech, and I tried to stay up. I tried to stay up for this, but these guys are just the same thing over and over again, pandering to minorities, lies, and just it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. I gotta watch it because I want to see what they're gonna say. I mean, that's part of what I do, right? It's just me, but for normal people, I'm saying I'm not normal to watch this stuff. I watch it all. I watch them. I watch the Democrats. I watch Republicans, although I stayed up for their speeches because they really set down their platform, what they want to accomplish in the next 4 years, and how they're going to fix everything the Democrats screwed up. I mean, you've got Kamala and her band of criminals up there talking about what they're going to do when she's president. Well, she's been vice president and been running the show with Joe Biden for 4 years. Why didn't they do it then? They have no more intention of doing it when she gets elected than they did for over the last 4 years. The border's going to be open. She's going to put in price controls. Everything she's saying is going to be communist. Raise corporate tax rates, huge. Raise the tax rates to 28% from 21. It's just going to be, a nightmare. And yeah, Bernie Sanders was there, right? He was there giving his schmuck, another schmuck, doing his routine. And you know what? After this is over, she's put off taking pressers and having debates. Now she's got her. She's already backed out of the Fox debate. She doesn't want nothing to do with Fox. She's not going to do that debate. She's going to do one ABC debate, and that's all she's committed to so far. And I don't know how she's going to get through that without a teleprompter. She's useless. They asked her, "You're the border czar. Why haven't you been to the border?" And she looked at the guy and said, "I haven't been to Europe either." What's your point? She started laughing. This is the kind of thing she gives you off the hoof. And we'll see how it all ends tonight. And she's going to have to start doing it. The warts are starting to come out, and between here now and November 5th, they're going to really come out. It's not going to be pretty for her and Tampon Tim as they are scrutinized more closely every day. And their true agenda is going to come out, which it is starting to. And of course, the American people are going to reject it. They don't want price controls. That's what they do in Russia and Venezuela, and look how they end up. Yeah, so they're going to find out in a few short months what's up. And when your theme is talking against Donald Trump and pandering to minorities, what do you expect? They're showing Trump videos. There, so many Trump videos. It's like an advertisement for Trump, really. But anybody there cheering that, they're going to vote Democratic anyway. They're not going to these things. This isn't going to swing anybody who's not voting for the Democrats anyway. Really, I mean, they've had 4 years to do everything they want to do. They didn't do it. That says more than showing videos of Trump, sound bites that just don't have any context to them. So it's going to be interesting. I don't see how anybody would think in the next 4 years they're going to cure what they screwed up in the last 4. Their platform just doesn't allow for it. It's tax and spend. Give everybody free Medicare. 1 or 2 trillion, 40 trillion dollars worth. Give everybody free this. Give everybody back their loans. It's really, really crazy. Give everybody citizenship. 20 million illegal aliens. Give them all citizenship and driver's licenses. It's nuts. It's nuts. Oh, the Obamas were up there. I saw them. I didn't see them live. I couldn't stay up. I watched the videos. They were real well received by the audience, of course. And they should know what they're talking about since they have been running the country for the last 4 years now, anyway. And Beetlejuice there, the Chicago mayor, before she was thrown out, she was there. Oh, yeah, clap. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yeah, she was there clapping. And they hammered home racism and their hatred for Trump. They forgot to mention over the last 16 years, the Democrats have controlled the White House. Out of the last 16 years, 12 of the 16 have been controlled by the Democrats. And it hasn't been pretty for the U.S. since 2008, has it? So anyway, this is it. This is their last night. And we're going to see how this is going to wind up. I got to watch the finale here. It's going to be a real slobber knocker. They're still protesting in Chicago and getting arrested. So, yeah, that's basically what's going on down there. And like I say, why it affects Canada, because everything they do affects us. And you never know. I mean, if Kamala gets elected, she does get elected. I mean, we might see Trudeau back for another round. I mean, this is the way people are going. It's a good indication. And Trudeau will love to have price control. He'll love to do all of that. I mean, everything she does, he's going to love. They're going to get along famously. Another day older and deeper in debt, because that's where they're going to throw us. And basically, that's the deal-yo. That's the deal-yo. That's what you got there, the deal-yo. Well, I'm going to talk about one thing before I leave today. And that is now the railways are on strike. Oh, look at this guy. A big blanket around him. It's 80 degrees. He's got a big blanket walking around. What the heck? Oh, he found something on the street. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. For all you on video, I'm doing this live. You won't see this till after. It's not live. But when I'm watching it live, what's going on downtown? Our beautiful downtown meteor crater. Well, anyway, now the railways are on strike. We've had the planes, trains, and automobiles. We've had all three now this year. The car companies went on strike, and then the airplanes went on strike. The airlines, and now the planes, trains, and automobiles. We hit the trifecta here. And of course, the CBSA, Parks Commission, and teachers too. We can't forget them. They're on strike, and I don't know, but there's some city workers on strike too, and transit workers. Who knows? Everybody's on strike these days. Any PSU, the public service unions, are all on strike. They get their way no matter what. Yeah, the Parks Commission was on strike. Everybody wanted to go. So what do trains on strike mean? Well, billions and billions of dollars of goods that won't move around, and they're going to be sitting idle. And guess what? Taxpayers are going to get snaffled again because when there's not enough goods to go around because they're not being delivered, there's more competition for the goods that are there, and the prices go higher. It's called inflation. And then we got higher taxes coming to pay the piper when the city decides. And then, of course, because there's no deliveries to these stores, they raise their prices a little bit more because they can, more demand, and on and on. And additional inflationary pressure to already unaffordable pricing. And that's basically where everybody is today. I mean, they can't afford what they got. They can't afford gas for their car. They can't afford the rent. They can't afford the food. They can't afford the utilities. Can't afford their taxes. And now trains are stopped, and it's just going to make it worse. I mean, haven't we had enough in Canada? Have we not had enough? Is enough enough? Who else is going to go on? Who else is left? Is there anybody left who hasn't been on strike? Firemen were on strike. They can't go on strike. They're essential services. But who else is going to go? Is there anybody left? I haven't gone on strike. Anyway, there's a lot of people who haven't gone on strike. The union guys get to do that. And they think they're doing a good thing here. Oh, we want more money. We want more money. We want more benefits. We want more benefits. At the end of the day, it just raises prices. So the increase in salary they get is just going to be eaten up by inflation. You have a declining dollar. The purchasing power of the dollar is declining, and that's inflation. And basically, they're not immune to it. Hey, prices go up for them too. They don't understand that they're the ones causing it. Most like government don't understand. You think the city council is sitting around that table don't pay more taxes? Sure they do. They don't understand why, maybe, and what role they have to play. So they're so willing to drop 8.72 on the region to us. They're willing to raise the waste and wastewater by 11 or 12%. They're willing to dump our taxes here by another 5 or 6%. But they get hit on too, and so does every business, and they raise their prices, and we got more inflation. It's a vicious cycle until these governments can get themselves into a spending habit that lives within their means. They don't get it. That's Chris Regan. Chris Regan tells you all the time. Biggest cause of inflation is government. It's not the corner of the store guy because he's greedy and he's price fixing and everything else. That's not the reason there's inflation. It's government. It's government. Red tape causes inflation. Taxes cause inflation. And they control everything. And price controls are going to make it worse. I mean, in the United States, these grocery stores that are running at 1.6% margins, I mean, really low. They work on volume. So you're going to now fix their prices. How did the doctors like it when they fixed their prices in Canada? How did the healthcare like it? What happened to us? When they said you can only charge so much for taking an appendix out or tonsils out or whatever. How do we make out? Well, we made out with 1-2 year waiting list for MRIs and procedures that are life-saving in a lot of cases. And, you go to the doctor, he's overbooked because he's trying to make money. He's overbooked and then you can see him for 15 minutes about one thing. You got 2 things wrong, you got to come back for the second appointment. That's our healthcare system. Everybody says the best healthcare in the world. Baloney. It's free healthcare. Baloney. Baloney. I can go over to the States right tomorrow and get an MRI done and pay for it. Private healthcare. They want to get rid of that. I mean, all these things that they're doing are going to reflect here in Canada. They're going to come to Canada. But anyway, planes, trains, and automobiles, throwing taxes, spend governments that never quit picking your pocket. And when your pocket is empty, they just print more money to make whatever you have in your pocket worth less. Unions are killing this country. Governments are aiding and abetting them. Our wallets are empty. Oh well. There's a good news story out of this though. We don't have to wait for trains anymore. They're not running. Yeah, you don't have to worry about cutting the city in half with a train. No, they're not going to be running, so you're going to be fine. You can drive around. You don't have to worry about it. As ridiculous as it seems, that would be a good part of it. It is. It is. But the downside is, and here we go, as soon as they settle, now they're going to have to play catch up. So there's going to be twice as many trains, twice as long when they come back. And as your car idles and your gas gauge goes down and you pay more and more for gas, and you ain't seen nothing yet. There we go. So what do we hope? Trump gets in. He resumes fracking. Finishes the Keystone Pipeline, brings gas prices down to $1.99 in the States and a lot lower in Canada as well. And everything's good. Lives within his means, ends the wars, closes the borders, all the good stuff he did before that made the United States phenomenal for those years until, of course, they scammed you with COVID, and that changed the whole dynamic. But other than that, I mean, everything was going pretty good. Anyway, I'm done here. I'm done for the day. Thanks for listening, everybody. I love you listening to the show. I love the comments. Yeah, I love when you give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't care. Give one or the other. No decision is indecision. Decide you like it or you don't like it. Either way, it doesn't matter to me. If you have a comment, leave it. I reply to all comments. I like to hear different views. And if the comment's a good one and it presents another angle on what I'm talking about, I'll say it right on there. I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you right here on air. I mean, what the hell? That's what it's for. These shows, people get the wrong idea. They think I don't like the people sitting around city council table. That's something personal. No, I don't. They're great people, but it doesn't mean you have to listen to everything they say and adore them. You don't have to agree with everything they do, with every move they make. No, I mean, when you talk to them, you're talking on a business level as a citizen of Niagara Falls, as a tax-paying citizen of Niagara Falls, by the way, and you deserve better. And if they can't give you better, you call them out on it and you get rid of them. Yeah, that's it. Next election, check off their name. Gone, gone, gone. Put new people in. That's how you do it. But it's nothing personal against any of them. I know them all. They're good people. It's just they don't do a good job. And if they don't do a good job, you got to call them out on it. Guys was working at your house doing work and you didn't do a good job, you'd call them out on it, wouldn't you? You would just do shoddy work and let him off the hook because he's a good guy. I mean, you're going to say, listen, this isn't right. Fix it. You got water coming out of your lights, your lighting fixtures. You're going to tell the guy, hey, listen, there's water coming out of the light. Maybe you got something hooked up wrong here. Come on. And it's not because you don't like the guy or have anything against the guy. It's because you expect better. And we have to start expecting better from everybody, from these guys. We have to start expecting better, and that comes with criticizing. And you can criticize. That's your right. You're a taxpayer. That's what this show's all about. Discussion, intercourse. We want to have discussions about this and get people interested. And whether you agree with me or not isn't the important part. What the important part is you act on it. You get into the discussion. Whether it's with me or with city council. They're all great people. Been in Niagara Falls all their life. Know the city. They're all great people. It's like pizza. Some pizzas are better than others. That's all. And when they're taking care of your tax dollars and dealing with your money, you want the best of the best. You don't want somebody that's not good at what they're doing. It's not their fault. Not everybody's a doctor. Not everybody's a lawyer. Not everybody's good at the economy, or not everybody's good at math. Not everybody's good at accounting and budgeting and that. There's deficiencies, so we got to fix them. And the only ones that are going to fix them are people telling them they're doing it bad. You don't tell them, they don't know. They think they're doing a great job. Anyway, my name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Your City, Your Voice, coming to you live from downtown Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada, on Straight Talk Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate you out there in video land and in radio land. This is done live on 4680Q Radio, of course, from the studios of 4680Q Radio. We thank you for tuning in. Thank you to our sponsors. Support our sponsors, Wild Bill's Auto Repair and Body Shop and Hamilton Glowstone Lighting. We'll see you tomorrow with Finally Friday. I may even have a guest in. We'll see if somebody wants to come in and pass the dollar back and forth. Pass the buck back and forth, if you will. Take care. Have a great day. Enjoy the weather. We're getting down to the end of it. Ciao, ciao. For now, see you soon.